Yo, what's good? Have you ever heard there's a phrase humans love using when they want to stop thinking? Hmm, It's just the natural order. Whenever you hear that, pause for a second because his story shows us something that is very consistent. What people call natural is usually just what benefits them. And supremacy doesn't usually arrive screaming. It doesn't kick down doors. Most of the time, it sits quietly in the background, wearing the mask of common sense. It says things like, this is how it's always been, or this just works better. And that's exactly why it's dangerous. So, supremacy at its core is the belief that some people are inherently more entitled than others. Not necessarily smarter or better, just more deserving by default. Once that belief settles in, hierarchy stops being questioned. It becomes invisible. One group is seen as the standard, everyone else becomes a deviation that needs explaining. So, this is where misogyny enters, not as an outburst of anger, but as a system. Misogyny is often imagined as hatred. That's misleading. Hatred is way louder. Misogyny, on the other hand, is usually calm, polite, even reasonable sounding. It shows up as a concern, as practical thinking, as statements like this role suits men better, or women are just different. And that word, different, does a lot of work. It quietly turns equality into a debate and hierarchy into a preference. What's really happening here isn't a discussion about ability, it's about control, about who gets to decide, about who is trusted with power and who must justify their presence. When societies change, people thinks that tension becomes sharper and all the roles start to blur. Old guarantees start to disappear, and power spreads out instead of staying concentrated. For some people, especially those raised to expect authority without negotiation, this feels like loss. Not loss of rights, but loss of certainty, loss of being automatically on top. Supremacy steps in at that moment like emotional anesthesia. It whispers, you didn't fail. The world changed unfairly. It offers a villain. It offers comfort. And comfort is seductive when identity feels threatened. This is also where biology often gets put into the conversation, usually against its will. Yeah, biology is real. Bodies differ. Reproduction involves sperm and eggs, hormones exist, but biology describes how bodies function. It does not assign moral rank. It does not decide who deserves authority, voice, or safety. When, when biology is used to justify social dominance, it stops being science. It becomes ideology in scientific clothing. And this matters because once dominance is framed as natural, resistance gets reframed as rebellion, as disorder, as something that is truly dangerous. Looking at Western societies makes this pattern even clearer. As women gain economic independence and legal agency, relationships stop being survival contracts. They became choices. That shift didn't weaken society. It exposed something fragile underneath it. Hmm. Many men were never taught how to define their worth without being above someone else. So, when that position was questioned, some didn't adapt. They retreated. Narratives from it quickly. The West is collapsing. Masculinity is under attack. Women have too much power now. Misogyny became a coping mechanism, and then supremacy in final became emotional shelter. Yeah, emotional shelter. And here's the crucial distinction that often gets twisted. Protecting women does not mean diminishing them. Women do not need care because they are inferior. They need care because they are human. Yeah, because pregnancy creates vulnerability, because violence targets them disproportionately, because history has stacked risk unevenly. Protection is not ownership, care is not control, strength is not dominance. A society that truly values women does not confine them. Instead, it builds systems where safety is guaranteed, not negotiated. The most dangerous form of supremacy isn't aggressive. It's calm, it sounds thoughtful, it claims neutrality, it says it's just asking questions while quietly preserving hierarchy. But question designed to protect power aren't questions. They are conclusion wearing question marks. And misogyny isn't really about women. Supremacy isn't really about truth. They are about fear, fear of equality, fear of irrelevance, fear of a world where worth isn't handed out by birth. Real strength doesn't Real strength does not require someone beneath it. And real order doesn't demand silence from half of the population. That's not radical. That's not ideological. That's just what maturity looks like when fear stops running in the room. So, respect women. Respect and love your mom. And if you have a girlfriend, love her. Alright, see ya.